to those who are going to work to keep our country going. And we say, hats off. All right.
It's so touching,
Isn't that sweet?
Hoda.
Yeah.
Yeah. I called it a blue light special.
Oh, I love that. Mr. Roker.
This morning, more questions over what China knew about the coronavirus and when. US officials telling NBC News they picked up intelligence in November that indicated there could be a
because I think probably we were missing a significant amount of the data now that when we see what happened to Italy and we see what happened to Spain.
growing criticism from the Trump administration forcing the Director General of the World Health Organization to respond.
Please don't politicize this virus.
But China is presenting itself as a global guardian angel. This is a 747 full of goggles, face shields and protective suits arriving in New York from China. Do you think China is trying to help America or help itself?
Well, I think from the very beginning of this crisis, the Chinese Communist Party, its government, has been more has been more interested in its public image than it has been in addressing this disease.
NBC News has analyzed over 200 examples of social media messaging by Communist Party officials and state-run media, uncovering what appears to be a concerted pro-China campaign in English. China's aim, many in Washington believe, no less than to replace America's global authority.
We are at real risk of being seen to have been weakened and to have ceded our leadership role in the world.
And we did reach out to the Chinese ambassador in Washington, who declined an interview, Craig.
Hey, Keir, what lessons are we as a country learning about China right now?
Well, this is across the aisle, Craig. So both Senators Rubio and Coons, who you heard in my report there, told me that they believe one of the questions is the amount of medical supplies that we rely on from China. That said, disengaging has its own risks. So Reuters reported last year that the CDC representative in China was removed from China by the Trump administration. That person's role was to try to look out for diseases. You know, Craig, big historic events like this change our worldviews. Just think about the way that 9/11 changed our perspective on the Middle East. What the American people need to know is that this conversation isn't waiting for this crisis to be over. The conversation about what to do about China, if you like, is happening now. Craig?
So many questions. Keir Simmons Force there in London. Keir, thank you.
We're back with more on the struggling U.S. economy and those staggering new jobless numbers just out. 10% of the American workforce now, nearly 17 million people out of work. And that is, of course, fueling the debate over when the economy should reopen. Walmart is the world's largest private sector employer. It's been one of the companies working with the president's coronavirus task force. Doug McMillon is Walmart's president and CEO. He's also chairman of the board of directors for the Business Roundtable, which is an association of America's leading CEOs. Mr. McMillon, good morning to you.
Good morning, Savannah.
I know you know those unemployment numbers well. I also know that Walmart is hiring right now. But we were so struck by this image of cars lining up at a food bank in Texas. Some people are expecting that the unemployment figure ultimately could be higher than that of the Great Depression. Are you concerned that we may actually see not just a recession, but a depression in this country?
Well, I think it's really important